Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dave from Countryside. Today, what I'm going to be talking to you about is basically a non-technical overview of FFRM. What is FFRM? Well, FFRM stands for Family, Farm, and Ranch Manager. It's a type of software called farm management software. Basically, as it says, is used to manage a farm or a ranch. Why is it needed? Well, I know from my firsthand experience, we've owned this farm for about 17 years. For the first 12 or so years, I didn't really need it, to tell you the truth, because we were absentee owners, came here on several times a year, but we have a caretaker slash farm manager who was basically just maintaining the place. Didn't need farm management software for that. However, and about 5 years ago, we started actually getting ready for our retirement, developing the farm, and actually developing a sheep operation here. So one of the first things we did was go through and get rid of the old fences and put in new fences. And then with about 3 years ago, we got our first sheep, and things started building up quite a bit. We went from about 5 sheep one year, and now we have 30 sheep this year. Earlier this year, about the beginning of the season, in the middle of winter, it got to the point where it was just overwhelming. It actually is a farm operation at this point, not just a weekend vacation type place. And that's exactly the tipping point where it became a little bit overwhelming. I couldn't do it. So what I did was I created this farm management software package called FFRM, and I use it on my farm. But the bottom line is I needed it, and I looked around to see what is out there. I always go through a build versus buy thing, and that's what IT people do. And there was nothing that really fit my need, and my need was I didn't want to spend a gazillion dollars. I didn't want to spend, you know, $50, $100 a month. So what I decided to do is go ahead and write my own, and here it is. So that's why it's needed. It's why I built it. There's some balance trade-offs that I did whenever I designed the software. Simplicity, usefulness, and cost are essentially the trade-offs, and I tried to balance those as best I could. Um, how is it architected? Well, almost everybody else out there right now is writing web-based software. As I said, I got 45 years in IT and in my day job, we write web-based software. Everybody writes web-based software today. Web-based software, when you got a team of developers and you got servers and you got cloud-based systems and so on and so forth, all the technical stuff, it costs some money. And I didn't want to spend, you know, even $10 a month or $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever it costs. I don't like spending money, is most small farm and ranch owners can attest to. The more money you can keep in your pocket, the better, because we're not made out of money, and money don't grow on trees. I'm sorry. So what I wrote is an application that actually is local. It's right here on my computer, and it's downloadable for you now, that you can run it on your computer, and you don't have all that overhead that you've got to pay for. And that's the trade-off. It does take a little bit more effort on my part, and if you want to use it on your part, but it's, $50 a month is $600 a year forever and ever. Amen. So no, we're not going to do that. It's not an accounting system. It's a farm operations management system. but it does track transactions. So that's a good thing. And it does an awful lot. I kept thinking of things that I need to have happen here, and I guess we're really considered a small ranch at this point, although this is a farm that started off as a tobacco farm and sorghum and molasses and corn and potatoes, and it's been everything to over the years. We're transforming it basically into sheep with livestock. So I think technically it's a ranch, but whatever you got. Um, when you got a full-time operation that's up and running all the time, whether or not you devote full-time work to it, but if it's a full-time business, which ours is at this point, you can't just turn off the sheep. I mean, they're they're out there. And if you're growing crops, you just can't turn them off. You got to take care of them, and you got to plant them and harvest them and do all that kind of stuff. So you need something to manage all of that. Um, uh, and a farm operation system is basically a great way to do the things that need to be done. What are the critical success factors for this thing? Well, I like to talk about that because I do that with my day job with my big customers. There's five different critical success factors for this software. Number one, it should increase the efficiency and profitability and reduce waste and overlap on your farm or ranch. It does that for mine. I got 6 years worth of my operational data now that's plugged into it. That was basically my test case, and it's become pretty damn good. I got to tell you, I've learned some things just by taking all the data and getting into one place. It's eye opening. Um, so that's number one. Number two is capture the big and important information. You know, some people will say, well, I got a system out here and, you can document, well, I got up at 8:15 today and then I took my coffee and then I walked it. No, no, nobody has any time for that. Big and important information needs to be captured. When did you buy certain property? When did you plant? When did you buy animals? When did you dispatch animals? The big and important stuff. And it does an absolute excellent job. That was one of the primary things that I wanted to build into this software is capturing big and important information. And why is that important? Because I can tell you, as you get a little bit older and a little bit grayer on top, you don't remember everything from month to month to year to year, and 5 years and 10 years down the road. You don't remember every single little detail of everything you did. It's really good on at least the big and important stuff to have that captured. Take a few notes, and then you can go back and look at it. And it's like a time capsule of information that helps you to remember stuff down the road that really can help you. And I found that already. And if it isn't for you, if you've got perfect was it eidetic memory and you can remember everything, well, fantastic. God bless you. But what about if you've got a family farm or ranch and someday you want to pass that on to your family members? Um, there's knowledge that needs to transfer. And how do you do that? Well, if they can go back and, if you take over a business, the first thing you want to do is look at the books. What is the books? What are the books in the farm? Well, it's usually I can tell you from generations past, I've got, generations of farmers in my family that go back 400 years. Yeah, I can tell you they didn't have farm management systems in the 1600s or the 1700s or the 1800s. It was all word of mouth. And if you skip some of that word of mouth stuff, then there's some important information that doesn't get passed along. So this really should help with that. Number three is prepare a data model for possible future AI. In my day job, work with some big, can't tell you who, but government agencies, and AI is playing a role in everything that we do. And if you aren't paying attention to the news in the last 6 months or so, AI has exploded, and it will continue to get. It's going to be bigger than the internet. It's going to be bigger than a lot of stuff. It is going to have a huge impact on everything that everybody does. So, if it's important to you to try to set your farm operation up so that AI, someday you can say, here, Mr. AI, here's my data, so you can look at it and you can see, what we're doing and give me some recommendations and suggestions on how to improve things. That's great. That's if it's good AI. There's a lot of science fiction out there that has bad AI. Well, guess what? If you got all your data in the cloud, in a cloud-based system, it will all be read by AI systems, and your farm, everything about it is going to be known to the super intelligent and general intelligence AI systems that are going to be growing over the next several years. If it's local data on your computer and you don't want to share it with bad AI, then don't share it with bad AI. If you really want to, if it turns out to be good AI, well, then share it with them. But it's your option at that point. That's kind of how I looked at it. Affordability. I can write software that's run local that's a drop in the bucket compared to web-based systems, and that's just I will not disparage other folks. If you've got a thousands of acres farm or ranch, and you got full time, you're working on it full time, and you got employees working on it full time. God bless you. Go paying 50 or $100 or $200 a month and have one of a professional system, and because you don't have time to do everything yourself, or at least some things yourself, so go get the big ones. That's fine. For me, I wanted affordability. That was at the top of my list of priorities. So by having a local system running on my PC, I save a ton of money, and that's just the way it is. Ease of use. This is pretty darn easy software to use. And last, who was the target audience? Who did I write this for? Like I said, me. This is for my farm primarily. But then after I wrote it, I said, dang, there's a lot of people out there in my position that have a small farm or ranch that it could be very useful for. So it's kind of me giving back to the community a little bit. This is not going to be a big money maker, $50 a license. I'm basically just looking to pay the costs of getting it out there and supporting it and so forth. So this is not make a gazillion dollar type thing. This is mainly me giving back to the community. So what are small farms? The average size farm in the United States today is 445 acres in 2023. Well, by rule of thumb, you got to have at least 1,000 acres or so at a farm or ranch for it to be sustainable as a full-time employment type thing for the owner, let alone if you got employees helping you. So if you've got a sizable operation, and you probably already have a farm management system, but there is a ton of people. If the average size out there is 445, that means a lot of folks are probably doing this as a part-time job, or you're absentee, and either way, this FFRM is a good system for you. 97% of farms in the United States, of 2.1 million, are family owned. So, hey, family farm and ranch manager. That's it. So, in future episodes, I'm hoping to go over exactly how the FFRM works, and we're going to go through downloading it and installing it, and then all the different things in it, and try to keep these bite sized so you can watch them in a few minutes on your spare time, and then get on with your business. So, thank you so much for your time. I hope you're interested. And our software is downloadable from the website that I created. Part of the $50, it's is paying for that. It's www.countrysidebp.com. Countrysidebp.com. When I post this video, I'll try to put that in the link. And if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, well, essentially what will happen is when I put out a series of these, this is episode one. When I put out a series of these, if you're interested in it, you'll get those flashed up on your YouTube machine somewhere. So it'd be a good thing. Otherwise, you may miss them. So I'd suggest going ahead and uh, subscribing. And I think if you like it or something, that does something for somebody. I don't know, but hopefully this was useful for you. And we'll talk to you again. Again, Dave from Countryside. Thank you.